Hey, how's it going? Sunny here from San Diego. My wife and I bought our first home back in 2020 when things just started to get a tad crazy. Since then, we've been able to ride the housing market and see the appreciation in our home. And I have to say, we're pretty happy. Buying a home is a big decision and you have to make sure that you're ready. But as you and I know, they really don't teach this stuff in school or share with you the factors that you should consider when making such a huge purchase. Here in this video, I'll be sharing with you 3 simple factors that helped my wife and I buy our first home. Side note, I am a home loan advisor, so I do have industry knowledge that helped us make our decision, and I hope it can help you out too. The first thing to consider is, why are you buying your home? Are you buying a home because you're ready to lay down your roots and start a family, or you just want to build long-term generational wealth? Or you're trying to speculate and make money. Whatever the reason may be, you want to get clear on the reason why, because it's going to influence how you approach buying your home. For us, we were ready to settle down for at least the next 3 years. We've already been married for 2, we were renting for 3, and we were tired of our money going to waste. When we looked at the numbers, it just made sense. We were already renting for $2,000 a month. Owning a home for us would have been $1,000 more, which is very typical for high cost areas like San Diego. Even though cash flow wise, we're going to be spending more on a monthly basis, we knew in the long-term goal of holding real estate, we were going to be put in a better financial position. Let me show you. Looking at the numbers, what we have here is a rent versus own breakdown. We're looking at owning with a $3,000 a month mortgage payment and then renting at $2,000 a month. And mind you, rent goes up every single year. In San Diego, it's 6%. So by year 5, you could be spending about $2,525 towards rent. Now, at first glance, it looks like there's an advantage to renting because you're actually paying $46,000 more to own a home. But what people forget to include is appreciation gain and amortization gain. So appreciation gain is the increase in value of the home over time, and amortization gain is the pay down of your mortgage, which essentially becomes like a forced savings account, right? So the starting value of your home is at $450 with a forecasted appreciation rate of 5.8. In 5 years could be worth $597,000. So you're gaining $147,000 there. And then just on the amortization gain alone, so just paying down the principal, you're pretty much breaking even. You start off with a original loan balance at $427,500. In 5 years, it goes down to $381,786. Well, that adds to your equity at $45,714. And when you look at the bigger picture here, in 5 years, after factoring in initial closing costs, the cash flow difference for paying more to own versus rent, and then the cost to sell, you could have about $100,000 to your name. But here's where it gets interesting. When you expand it to 10 years, you could have about $425,000 to your name in this valuable asset. And that's where it really made sense for Christine and I. So keeping in mind the long-term goal of real estate and responsible home ownership, you can set yourself up pretty well in the future. And think about this. By year 3, even though you only have $23,000 to your name, you can put a renter into that property. They can pay the mortgage from year 4 to year 10. Guess who keeps the $425,000 in equity gained? You do, as the homeowner. The second thing that you should consider is whether you can budget for the monthly payment. Owning a home comes with additional expenses like property taxes, homeowner's insurance, maintenance costs, and sometimes HOA. Make sure you have a good understanding of your monthly budget and that you can afford these additional expenses. We knew that the market is the market, and we don't have control over what happens with rate or even prices. So long as we knew we could handle the monthly payment, regardless of what happens with rates, regardless of what happens with price, we knew that long term, with keeping our goal in real estate in mind, we were going to be put in a better position. Now, home ownership does take sacrifice, but 10 to 20 years from now, you're going to be glad that you did. Finally, make sure that you really want the house. Owning a home is a long-term commitment, so make sure that you like the area and the home that you're going to be living in. This is where I see most people struggle, including my wife and I, because once you've decided on a budget, sometimes what the market has to offer doesn't align with your initial expectations. But once again, with a long-term vision in mind and responsible homeownership, you have to work with what the market gives. And if the area is not giving you what you want, you either have to expand your area or redefine your monthly budget. We knew time in the market beats timing the market. And if you hold your home for long enough, you can do one of 2 things. You can either sell and buy your next property, or rent out your property and then buy your next property. I personally prefer the second option because you can get your renter to pay your mortgage, and as the home appreciates in value, you receive 100% of the benefit. Buying a home is the biggest financial decision that you're going to make, so you want to make sure that you're ready before taking the plunge. Consider these 3 factors that help my wife and I. Why are you buying the home? Can you budget for the monthly payment? And do you really want the home before you make a decision? If you can answer all three of these questions, you're in the right headspace and you're ready to take the next steps. My team and I would love to continue this conversation with you and create some clarity and guidance on the next steps in owning a home. Read the description below and click the Calendly link and book a Zoom call, and we'll talk about your goals and your values when it comes to home ownership.